Thanks, Whiplus, for joining in this conversation with AsiaBizToday. It's a pleasure to see the whole buzz around the Japan startup ecosystem in the recent past.
Yeah.
So, with IVS 2026 just about a couple of weeks away,
Yeah.
it's being positioned as, with the theme Japan is back. So, from your perspective, leading IVS Global, what does that message really mean for international founders, investors, and ecosystem builders looking at Japan today?
Yeah, this is a very strong message from us to all those global investors, startup founders, and corporates. Come back to Japan and build here. So, in the past decades, like Japan, people have this kind of image, like a very stable and sometimes very slow country, which is not suitable for startups. But we really want to refresh this image for that. Well, in a financial perspective, we got a long term of deflation, and now I think it's finally re-entered with interest rates and the inflation. So yeah, everything changed, and also we got a weak yen this time. So I think this moment for Japan is the cheapest moment in this generation for everyone to come to Japan, to enter, to buy something, to build something, to invest and partner with the corporate here. So it's not something like nostalgic, like the bubble economy, but it's really a new page so Japan can be a great partner with all the economies in the world and inside this global ecosystem.
So how's the response been to IVS 2026? I mean, what are the kind of, given from the past year's experience, how do you see the growth for this year's edition?
For this year, we are more focused on how we show those good technologies, good startups from Japan to the global audience. We maintain a huge startup market, which about 400 companies. Renewed the ranking system, so we're gonna bring all those best Japanese startups to the IVS and to expand it, and we're gonna help all the foreign audience with a specific tour to introduce those startups to make the matchmaking. And also another layer, we bring all those global investors, startup founders to a new layer called IVS CORE. So this is for the decision makers, for the CEOs of listed corporates, for those famous startup founders, and for the global investors to come together and make deals. So this is two new things we highlighting this year.
So, with participants expected to be, I think, beyond 10,000 this year, what kind of role do you see IVS playing in connecting Japan's startup ecosystem with Asia and the wider global market?
Yes, we play as a bridge, actually. So it's actually the strongest tie between those real Japanese startup ecosystem with the global. So in the startup side, I think IVS has the most ratio of startup-related people to join. So there's 10,000 or 12,000 people, not only normal people, but more than 50, 60s are the startup founders and investors. So we bring the whole community inside, especially almost 100% of the individual VCs and most of the CVCs are coming, as well as of those top startups are coming. Bring all those real players inside the Japanese startup ecosystem here. And on the other side, for the global side, the last year we have audience from 78 countries all around the world. And it's about 25% participants are from overseas. They're covering those famous global VCs and also those global startups, especially AI startups. So I think, yeah, we will continue doing that. And of course, in addition, we bring those global big players like OpenAI as our GOAT sponsor this year. So we have very strong community from Japan and all around the world. And our role is to bridging these two together with a huge variety of communication towards communication approaches. We got main events, of course, CORE, IVS, Launchpad, Startup Market about it is we have a lot of side events. So last year we had 500 side events. So outside of core IVS, you got 500 events to join. Most of them are welcoming the foreign audience. So this year we will maintain this level of side events. So you will get tons of chances of communications, not only in the daytime, but also in nighttime, in all around Kyoto, in different places.
So when you say international participants, I mean, are these startup founders looking at setting up in Japan, or are they looking for tie-ups, or are they more of VCs? What is the kind of interest that you're seeing?
Yeah, they're both. So they do have a lot of startup founders from all around the world. They want to expand to Japan, actually, especially some hardware startup like makers. Yeah, because their like products are kind of universal, so it's easy to get into the Japanese market. Of course, vice versa. We have so many Japanese startups who want to go global, so we create this platform for those mutual communications.
You kind of established IVS Crypto in 2022, and that division kind of evolved into what is now the IVS Global. So what prompted this transition from a crypto-focused platform into a more broader international startup and innovation platform?
Started IVS Crypto from 2022. And what we proved is three things. One is we can actually, before like IVS is not that global. So because of Web3, because of crypto, we can bring so many international guests to the event. And we prove we can run this kind of global startup innovation event by ourselves. And second is, of course, the English sessions as well. So the content not be necessary to be Japanese, but we can bring a lot of, like, even I think this year, one third of the sessions are conducting in English. And also the side events. You might know, like, the side event cultures come from Web3 communities, like Token 2024. So we introduced the side events from the first IVS Crypto in 2022. And we enlarge it again and again. Like 2022, it's only 20 side events. And 2023, in Kyoto, we have more than 100. 2024, we have more than 300. And last year, we have more than 500. So before, at the first few years, most of side events are only crypto side events. And then we have more non-crypto side events. And nowadays, the most of side events are not really like Web3 related. So Web3 is like a starting point of the IVS to become global. And we actually leverage this outcome from the IVS Crypto to make the whole event become more global. That's why we got the IVS Global stage from last year. And this year, of course, that's really like crypto is not disappeared. We do have one entire stage and entire zone collaborate with Japanese famous crypto media called Nada News to build the whole area for all those crypto Web3 players to come together. So it's still there.
So personally, you've been a front-end engineer yourself, right? I mean,
Yes.
So what has your own operator and builder experience shaped the way you design these startup ecosystems and global conference experiences?
I would like try to contribute is I see IVS is not like a show, not like a conference, but it's a product. It's a startup. It's a startup business. It's a product. And actually, someone saying, I don't know if you know, like a quite famous VC called Skyline Ventures, which is actually the tier 1 seed venture capital. Their CEO Kinoshita-san said IVS is the most exciting, successful startup in the recent few years. Although we are not startups, we co-host by VC called Headline Asia, and also with these few years we collaborate with Kyoto Prefecture and Kyoto City government as a co-host. So we're not a startup, but people see us as a startup because we have a strong tendency for expansion from like few hundred people to like 10,000 people. So what I make like a plan and contribute to IVS is I make it as a product. So yeah, so we focus on those numbers. We focus on the user experience, and we focus on the output. For example, when we build the startup market, we want to attract the most traffic for startup founders to get more leads. And it has proved last year, like per startup booth had more than 100 visitors a day. It's like 20% of investors, and like more than 20% are like potential buyers for it. So yeah, so it means like our final KPI is not just attendance, but it's actually how we bring the values to our customers, which are startup founders and investors, and then to build a platform, to build a mechanism inside it to make the whole ecosystem getting more activate, to make more actively active and larger and larger.
So Japan has historically had deep strengths in manufacturing, enterprise technology, robotics, frontier technologies. But many startups still face challenges while scaling internationally, Japanese startups. So what are some of the biggest barriers you see, and how is IVS Global trying to address them?
It actually depends on each startup. Yeah, some common point is it's about how they target the market at the beginning, because a lot of IT startups in Japan actually just targeting in the domestic market, which is fine. We're not pushing them to go global if they don't really want to. But for those companies who really have technology and who really have ambition to global, I think the starting bar barrier, they including the globalization inside the team, especially because comparatively, Japan has a very lower rate of like those founders to go study abroad to understand the global market. So, and also I think a less ratio for the team members could be global. So what we want to push, especially for IVS, we want to bring more global talents from outside to Japan to help the Japanese startups rebuild their teams, or to help them to expand overseas, and to introduce more examples for those global startups, how they build their organizations, how they build their corporate culture to make those startups to go global as their day one.
Yeah. So, I mean, you earlier mentioned about, this edition you introducing that IVS CORE, an invitation-only area for decision makers. Mm-hmm. And then you have all these startup conferences, startup market, and so many side events. So in such a, kind of a dispersed event, how do you balance the openness, the level of energy, and even high-value deal-making within one event ecosystem?
Yes. So we just want to solve it in architecture with, 3 layers actually. So one is we got the base layer is actually side events. So last year we have 500 side events. So people don't actually necessarily to buy an IVS ticket to enter those side events. Of course, some of the side events require IVS tickets. So this we covering about 70,000 to 100,000 people for those people who kind of interested in startup things, so they can maybe choose to join one of those side events to experience those the heat from the startup ecosystem. And then we have those IVS in general, like this year in Miyako and Rome Theater in our main venues, which is we got those startup players to show themselves, to learn things from the sessions, and to meet people they may interested too in different areas, and maybe find their mentors for their business to grow. And then finally we have IVS CORE, which is open for only less than like 1,000 people who are all decision makers. So those people have very strong startups, business, and all from corporate or investment side. So what we want them is just to make deals. They want each segment of people to have their most outcome into 3 days. So that's why we designed the 3 layers for the 3 segment of people in the startup ecosystem.
So for startups from, areas like, Southeast Asia, India, and wider Asia Pacific region, what do you, in your perspective, makes Kyoto and IVS a useful gateway into Japan?
Actually, there's about 2 reasons. One is Kyoto is famous. It's like a represent icon for Japan as it's an Asian capital. People love to come here, especially people from outside Japan who love to experience the real Japanese culture in Kyoto. And also the second layer, and as well as that, so it's tourist spot for that. So it's have relatively good infrastructures, hotels, and people who speak English who can give this hospitalities to the audience coming here. And another layer is actually I think Kyoto is the city in the whole Japanese history has most density of startup. We got Nintendo, Kyocera, Omron, part of Panasonic. So all those famous companies globally, they come from Kyoto. And also we have Notion, like which we brought the CEO to Kyoto last year to our IVS because their team rebuilt the whole product in Kyoto, and the product Notion absorbed fully of the spirit and the art sense from Kyoto, and then they become widespread into the global market. I believe Kyoto is a city who can bring those inspirations to the startup founders and also to make people to build more and more good product and service to the whole world.
So, finally, as you get towards IVS 2026, what will success for you this year look like? I mean, both in terms of IVS Global and IVS Kyoto, is the ambition to make IVS really a Japan-centered global platform or to create a bridge between Japan and rest of the world?
So it can be both, and it can not only focus on Japan. Our goal, our mission is become the number one startup platform in Asia. So Japan, Kyoto, like IVS, is just a platform for all around the startup founders, investors from all around the world to come to exchange. So it can be like country A to country B. It doesn't matter if like you from Jakarta, you want to meet someone from Bangalore, from Delhi, you can also come to Kyoto, want to become this kind of position. So it can be not really Japan's centered, but still we want to, because we're the host in Japan, so we want to show the strong connections in Japan. There's good startups, good corporates, good technology, good research, good culture, which can be commercialized to bring more like business values there. And also what we do is, as we mentioned, you came to Macau, we also operating our tours in different countries. Like 2 years ago, we bring about 30 companies to the India. And last year in Africa, and this year in China, Hong Kong, Macau, and Shenzhen. So we want to not only based in Japan, but also to operate more globally as well.
Wonderful. Thank you, Whiplus, for this conversation and for providing insights into what looks like going to be an exciting 3-day event in Kyoto. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.